Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sevitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudevevi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayade Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So Hare Krishna, welcome to our Gita Sandesh. We're almost at the end of completing the 18 chapters. A few more days to go. So before we begin the 17th chapter, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, we'll do a quick recap of the 16th chapter. The 16th chapter's title was Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. The divine and demoniac natures. This exists in all of us. We have some divine qualities and some demoniac qualities. Krishna talks about the demoniac qualities as being pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, ignorance. If we're honest with ourselves, then yes, I think all of us will have some quantum of these demoniac qualities. Of course, we also have divine qualities. We may not demonstrate it all the time, but that is also there in us. And again, the quantum will be very small and it may not be sustained. What is unique about dogs is that the dogs are very loyal to those who they know. But they can also be very aggressive attackers, So the dog has a side that is loyal, and the dog also demonstrates a side towards strangers who it perceives as its enemy or an intruder. So just like the dog has two different qualities depending on the environment, this duality is also seen in all of human beings, depending on the environment. So sometimes the distinction between good and evil are quite blurred. And you may always wonder, how is it that one person can be divine in certain ways and then be so demoniac in so many other ways, So for example, maybe somebody is doing a lot of puja, rituals, worshipping, but they have major anger issues. They're very harsh with their words. So you may ask a question, how is it that somebody, does a lot of worship every day and at the same time is showing so much anger, hatred, harshness, etc. This is the challenge we have with ourselves. So essentially in chapter 16, Krishna is talking about saintly qualities and demoniac qualities. And he is talking about if we don't nurture spirituality, it will lead to our destruction. If we only nurture the demoniac side, then you can imagine it will be catastrophic for us. Spiritually, it is catastrophic for us. Externally, you may not see that much catastrophe coming your way, at least in this life. It may take some time for you to reap the results of what you have sowed. So, Krishna talks about 26 divine qualities, beginning with fearlessness, ending with not having a desire for any honor. He talks about truthfulness, non-violence, gentleness, modesty, simplicity, self-control, the ability to observe some austerities, do some sacrifices. And then Krishna also talks about the 6 demoniac qualities. So these are very contrasting. And when does adharma flourish? Adharma flourishes when there is excessive demoniac qualities. And when these demoniac qualities are more dominant than your divine qualities, then it is going to hinder your spiritual growth. It makes you very selfish. Whereas if you cultivate the divine qualities, it makes you selfless. So from anger, you'll move to humility. From selfishness, you'll move to selflessness. So you can say your spiritual journey is like from selfish to selfless. And we are all somewhere in between, sometimes very selfish, sometimes maybe selfless, sometimes sensitive. When you become selfless is when you are actually thinking about others. Therefore, the theme question was, is the Gita teaching you about I, me, mine, or we, us, and ours? When you're selfish, you act for yourself. When you're selfless, you're acting for others. So, selflessness is a wonderful quality. It means you have the desire to help others in so many different ways. So then, from Shloka 7 to 20, Krishna talks about what opinions asuras or people with demoniac qualities have and what outlook they have. So their behavior is distinct, their mindset is distinct, the qualities is distinct. So Krishna basically says such individuals will go through the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, and they will also move to lower species of life so that they can get a chance to come back again to human form. And Krishna also talks about those who have a predominant demoniac qualities, they experience a lot of personal distress. And they also disrupt not just their lives, their extended family's life, they also disrupt society. So there is a saying in English, hate the sin and not the sinner. Similarly, Krishna is saying, hate the sin and not the sinner. The sinner can always be rescued. They just have to be taught on how to manage their negative behaviors. Krishna is not about condemning such individuals because they themselves are condemning themselves to lower species of life and more suffering. because they are ignoring the scriptures. So Krishna is the most compassionate person, because we ourselves are involved in our own downfall. So why should Krishna do anything more? He is also watching you, thinking, when are you going to get it in your head that this is not the right way? So as we said, in Satya Yuga, the divine qualities were residing in one planet. Demoniac qualities were used to be in a different planet altogether. They would not reside in the same planet. But in Treta Yuga, they're in the same planet, but different families. In Dwapara Yuga, same planet, same family, different members. In Kali Yuga, same planet, same family, same members. So you can see the yugas are degrading. So essentially, Krishna is saying, what is the demon's viewpoint? What is their philosophy, if they have a philosophy? They think everything is chance. There's no God anywhere. And what's their mentality? I am meant to enjoy everything, and because this is just one life to live. Perhaps a lot of them don't believe in karma also. Because if they believed in karma, there would be some fear. So if there is no God and everything happens by chance, then why worry at all? You can do whatever you want. Therefore, they tend to engage in activities that are self-destructive. It is not beneficial for their self-realization. And what's their destiny? Their destiny is they have to suffer again and again and again for what they are doing and then what they are not doing. Krishna says, lust, anger, and greed are the three doors to hell. So these three qualities can open the doorway to hellish times for you. But these punishments are not eternal. You can always redeem yourself. That is the most beautiful thing about this, the message in the Bhagavad Gita. It is never too late. You can always redeem yourself. There's no need to feel, I've done such terrible things. I don't know if the Lord will forgive me. The Lord will forgive you, but you have to make an effort. Right? So there's no such thing as eternal punishment, because the soul is allowed to develop through tough lessons and reform. So the three gates is lust, anger, and greed. And how everybody develops attachment. So the choice is ours. Do we want the blue pill or the red pill? The blue pill takes you towards Krishna. The red pill takes you further away from Krishna. So if you choose the red pill, then you're more and more attached to Maya. So much so it leads to delusion and ultimate fall down. If you want to take the blue pill, then you can rise up. That's when you focus on spiritual life, focus on what is important for your next life. Yeah? Because we're all sowing the seeds for our next life now. Therefore, all about we, us, and ours, that is moving from selfish to selfless, is the main message of chapter 16. Okay, so with that, we will come to chapter 17. I think the single word summary was inmates. Yes, for chapter 16, because we are all surrounded. We ourselves have divine and demoniac qualities, and then we are surrounded by people with divine and demoniac qualities. Okay. So coming to chapter 17, which is Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. And as we said yesterday, this chapter will begin with Arjuna asking a question after he's heard Krishna talk about divine and demoniac qualities. He's going to wonder okay, do I have hope or not? What about other people who don't have? They neither follow scriptures nor are they completely demoniac. They follow something. So, what is that something? And what is the consequences for such people? So, that means we're going to come back to the three gunas again, because Krishna will talk, whatever question Arjuna is asking, Krishna will talk in the context of gunas. So, let's look at the principles, the categories of faith, and the conclusion. So, again, it is all going to be Krishna talking about multiple things: knowledge, charity, sacrifices, austerity, and worship, faith. So, in the context of that, Krishna is going to use the three gunas. So, you'll see quite a few tables again in this particular chapter. So, let's look at Arjuna's question. Arjuna uvacha ye shastra vidhim utsrijya yajante shraddhayanvitaah tesham nishtha tuka Krishna Sattvam aho rajastamah. Arjuna asked, O Krishna, what is the position of those who do not follow the scriptural injunctions, but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, or in the mode of ignorance? Krishna spoke about the gunas in the 14th chapter. 15th chapter over, 16th chapter over, Arjuna has been listening. And now he's asking a question about the gunas, because he's not sure what about those people who are doing some worship, but it is not based on scriptures. And we look at some modern day examples to see what this actually means. What is Krishna's response? O son of Bharata, one is according to the various modes of nature, he develops a certain trust. According to his qualities, he is said to have a certain faith. So, essentially, what Arjuna is asking is if we do whatever we want as per whichever desire we have, then which guna is actually influencing us? That's Arjuna's question. We will take a simple example. When it comes to fasting, the scriptures have rules about fasting. When you should fast, what days you should fast. We cannot decide for ourselves, I will fast on this day. You have to fast on those days that are authorized by the scriptures. There are 2 days a month in which everybody can fast, which is Ekadashi. In the Shukla Paksh and in the Krishna Paksh. So what if I fast because I'm a politician? I am protesting against whatever the central government is doing. Can I fast for a result? Because I'm protesting? That is fasting against scriptures. That is fasting in Tamogun. Materially, you may think, oh, this will have a wonderful outcome. It's going to help others. I'm fighting for a good cause. No. You can't fast for a good cause. Fasting is only meant to please Krishna. Fasting is not meant to be used to get a material outcome or desire. Okay? There are some people who make deities of their favorite heroes, or they may make big pictures, big banners, and they garland it and worship it and even distribute food. You see this of movie stars who are treated like gods, especially if they've passed away. What do you think? Do the scriptures authorize worship of men who are famous for, acting? Or men who are famous as leaders? No, the scriptures do not authorize such worship. So what will happen to such people? Because they are doing it out of ignorance. So this is Arjuna's question. Because in real life, we can see this happening. Improper worship, improper fasts, improper charity, improper yajnas, all of this is happening today. So it's a pretty valid question. So we're going to find out what Krishna thinks about all of this. Hence, Krishna is saying here, a person's faith is also influenced by the three gunas. If they have faith in a movie star but not in Krishna, then it is influenced by the three gunas. One of the three gunas. So the question is, even worship has to be done the right way. To worship the Lord, you have to check scriptures on how to offer bhoga, how to offer tulsi, how to offer flowers. All of this has to be followed in the scriptures. Let us say a newlywed couple is coming home for the first time and the mother-in-law is taking arati and a cat is running across here and there. So she puts down the arati plate, captures the cat and puts it under the basket. And then she continues with the arati. So this has been observed by the daughter-in-law. Imagine when she gets her children married. She also, before doing arati, she keeps a cat in the basket and only then does the arati. That is quite foolish. So just because you witness something, that doesn't mean that's exactly how it is meant to be performed. Unless the person teaching you is a guru on how to actually do worship, how to worship the deities. There is actually a process we have to follow. How to wake up the deities at home, how to wipe them every day, how to clean your puja room. In what sequence should the photos be wiped? There's a detailed instruction for this. So in this way, we may unintentionally be passing on incorrect rituals that has no basis in Shastra. And you may end up saying, this is what our family has done traditionally. And we are following. It's a family tradition. Family traditions are not based on Shastra. So this becomes blind following with no basis in Shastra. Therefore, when you worship, you have to be very careful. What you're worshipping, how you're worshipping. Are you authorized to do what you're authorized to do? So Krishna is going to come back to various topics and look at it through the lens of the three gunas. Faith and worship, food that we eat, the kind of rituals that we observe, our own conduct, our speech under the influence of the three gunas, our mind under the influence of three gunas, charity under the influence of three gunas, austerity and sacrifices under the influence of three gunas. So everything Krishna is saying is influenced by one of the three gunas. So you can say in the same family, we have three different personalities influenced by three different gunas. Ravana was influenced predominantly by Rajogun because he wanted something and he was ready to do anything for it. Vibhishan was very dharmic. He knew what his brother was doing was wrong. He tried to advise him, he tried to counsel him. And then he rejects his own brothers and says, I cannot be on your side anymore. I am going to the side of the Lord. Kumbhakarna, unlimited eating, unlimited sleeping. Ravana knew Shastra very well, but he got caught up in greed. So in the same family, 3 different personalities, same parents, but 3 people ended up with different characteristics. So essentially, we're going to now talk about the lifestyle in 3 modes. So the 3 modes being Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamogun. And then we'll also look at Shuddha Sattvagun, because Krishna is going to say ultimately what is the right thing at the end of the chapter. So if you want to improve yourself, this is the best self-help book around. Even though the book clearly says that we will never be the supreme controller, but still the book also tells us, this scripture tells us, we can shape our destiny based on these particular categories. So Krishna says, this is just a summary, you can read the English translation of the slokas. Krishna says, if a person is under the mode of goodness, generally they tend to worship the devatas. That means if you're under the influence of pure goodness, you must be worshipping either Vishnu, Narayana, or Krishna. But generally people in the mode of Sattva-guna are worshipping the devatas. What about those who are under the influence of Rajagun? They are worshipping the demons. The Asuric people become their role models. And those under the influence of Tamogun, they are worshipping ghosts and spirits. So, Shuddha Sattva Gun worship means you are worshipping Shri Radha Krishna or Shri Lakshmi Narayan. Here is beautiful deities of Shri Krishna Balaram from Vrindavan, and you can see Prabhupada doing the chamar there. What about food? Krishna says, those who are under the influence of Sattva Gun, the food that they enjoy is wholesome, it is juicy, it is pleasing. And the result of eating such food, Krishna says, is they will have a long life. It is ultimately purifying for them. They will get all the strength, they will be disease-free, and they will be happy. Foods that are attractive and appealing to those under the influence of Rajagun, things that are very bitter or very sour, very hot or very pungent, things that are burning. And Krishna says such foods result in distress, misery, and disease. What about foods that are attractive to those under the influence predominantly of Tamogun? They eat things that are tasteless, things that are decomposed, untouchable. And the result is they will get a lot of infections, diseases. Such kind of food is contaminating, and they will face an early death. That means which food falls in the Shuddha Sattva state? Anything that is offered to Krishna falls in the category of Shuddha Sattva state, because then this food is only prasadam. It has been touched by Krishna, and therefore all of the sins associated with you cooking the food is removed. So anything that is considered a remnant of the Lord is beyond the 3 gunas. So prasadam is a very important aspect of practicing spirituality. Okay, what about sacrifices? So Krishna says Okay, so those people under the influence of Sattvagun, any yajna that they do is as per scripture. They also do it as a matter of duty. And most importantly, they are not looking for a reward. Which means it is not, I will do this and in return I will get this. So any sacrifice that you do, if you're doing it because you want a result, then you're not in Sattvagun state. You are actually doing that sacrifice or that yajna under the influence of Rajogun. Because when you're asking for some material benefit, then Krishna says, whatever yajna that you're doing, you are doing it for yourself. If you're doing it for yourself, it's because of Rajogun influence. What about any yajna done under the influence of Tamogun? Krishna says, oh, that. They don't follow scriptures. They don't offer prasadam. They don't chant the Vedic hymns, and they don't remunerate the priest. Such kind of yajnas are just totally bogus. Yajna means prasadam has to be distributed. Yajna means Vedic hymns have to be chanted. Yajna means it has to follow the scripture. Yajna means the priest must be remunerated for the yajna. There are 4 priests required for any yajna. One priest who is expert at lighting the fire without a matchbox. He should be able to generate fire using 2 sticks. One priest who is expert in chanting. One priest who is expert at overseeing the yajna. And one priest who is expert at offering things into the fire. So every yajna, you need 4 different kinds of priests for that yajna to be considered fruitful. What is the best yajna? Chanting. Yajnanam japa yajñosmi, Krishna says. So all you have to do is use your lips and your tongue and your teeth to chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. For this, you don't need priest. You don't need butter. You don't need ghee. You don't need anything else. So you're not dependent on anybody for chanting, except yourself. And you're chanting because you're not looking for a result. You're chanting to please Krishna. Okay. What about general conduct? Krishna says those under the influence of Sattvagun, they worship and offer all respects as per scriptures. And as he has mentioned it earlier, he or she does it as a matter of duty. Yeah. Whereas under the influence of Rajogun, again, your conduct is based on what is best for you. And your conduct is based on you getting all of the glory. Whereas people under the influence of Tamogun may also go to the extent of torturing themselves so that they get power to destroy others. And one example of a person who tortured himself for thousands of years is Hiranyakashipu, just so he could destroy the devotees of the Lord. So the Lord is always giving us chances to come back to Him. So anything can happen when the Lord is in your life. So, speech. This is important because this is what gets us into trouble most of the time. When we speak hastily. So if you're under the influence of goodness, Krishna says generally your speech will be truthful, it will be pleasing, it will be beneficial. If it is under the influence of passion, then your speech will be very manipulative, it will be gossipy, and it will only be there to fulfill your own selfish desires. Under the influence of tamogun, your speech is influenced by lying, by agitating others, and by causing harm to others. So we have a nice little pastime here. One king wanted to throw a big feast, and he invited one very well-known Muni to come and honor Prasadam. And the Muni said, no, 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 I don't want. My blessings are with you. But the king was very insistent. He said, no, I cannot accept your saying no. Please come, please come. So somehow the king compels the Muni. So the Muni is served a nice feast prasadam, or rather feast, I would say, not prasadam. Actually, even there you have to be careful. So he takes rest, and the next day morning, he takes rest in the king's palace. The next day morning, he leaves for his house. And when he wakes up, somehow or the other, he finds a pearl necklace in the room that he was staying, and he puts it in his bag and goes home. The king pretty soon finds out that this pearl necklace has been stolen. And he makes a public announcement that whoever is the thief who's found with this pearl necklace will be killed. Meantime, the Muni has reached home. He has vomited everything that he ate. He's got a very bad upset stomach also. So whatever he ate has come out. And the next day he hears that the king has made this pronouncement that there is the death penalty for whoever has stolen the pearl necklace. So when he hears about it, he immediately goes back to the king's palace and tells him, it was I who took the pearl necklace. And the king is refusing to believe because after all, he's a great personality. And he says, no, 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 I think you're protecting somebody else. Somebody else must have stolen it. You're so kind to come and give it. And the Muni says, no, 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 trust me. It was me who did this. And finally, the king says, but why do you think you did it? And the Muni says, you know why? Because I ate something that was cooked by somebody else under the influence of some other guna. And Munis and Rishis are very careful about what they eat and where they eat and who the cook is. Because whoever cooks the food, their mood has entered the grains. So you can imagine how careful Rishis and Munis are about eating outside food. So the Muni said, it was that person's mood that got over me that caused this episode. Because of the food that I ate, it influenced my consciousness. So we don't realize this, but immediately after you eat what someone else has cooked, if you do not know what frame of mind they are in, it will impact your psychological mood also, what to speak about your spirituality. So whatever guna that person had who cooked, that same guna attacked me. So it is said actually, even plates should not be shared. even among family members, with the exception of husband and wife. Each person should have their own plate, because even eating on another one's plate, even if that plate is clean, even then karma gets transferred. Consciousness gets transferred. I'm sure many of you may recall that in your younger age, especially the older people here, that their parents would have used, or rather their siblings, each of you may have had your own plate. Plates were not interchanged. So we have to be careful about where we choose to eat, because we do not know who's cooked. And therefore, Krishna says the safest thing is to honor prasadam. Because prasadam is Shuddha Sattva, then it will not impact your consciousness negatively. So this is very, very important for us to understand, because it can cause you to lie and cheat if you have eaten something that somebody else has cooked. Okay, so what about your mind? Well, for those who are under the influence of Sattva Gun, Krishna says their mind is usually in a state of satisfaction and contentedness. For those under the influence of Rajagun, they are always anxious and dissatisfied. For those under the influence of Tamogun, they are always in a bewildered state of mind, and anyway, they are in deep illusion. So this is the impact of the gunas on the mind. Coming to charity, Krishna says, for those who are doing charity under the influence of Sattvagun, again, they do it out of a duty. They do it without any expectations. They do it at the right place, right time. And the charity is offered to a qualified person. How do you know who's qualified? Then charity under the influence of Rajagun, it is done because you want something in return. You're doing it because it will make you look famous. Everybody will say, look at that person. They donated so much money. Their name is, on the hall, in the temple. They're doing it for the sake of enjoyment. And many times they may be doing it unwillingly. Then charity in the mode of ignorance, at an impure place, at an inappropriate time, and to an unqualified person. See, we also engage in charitable works, right? So many of us may spend money in charity for Annadan. So let us say you've served the poor people some food. After that, they are hungry again. So once you serve them Annadan once in a year, does that mean the rest of the days they have food? They'll be hungry again, right? So our charity is very minuscule in comparison to the problem that is there in society. So same way, if we give them clothing, do they not need clothing again? If we give them shelter, is that sufficient? But what if we teach them how to do bhakti? Let us say all of their other basic needs are met. If we teach them how to do bhakti, then they don't have to take birth again. Therefore, teaching somebody to practice spirituality is actually the highest form of charity. It is in Krishna's words in chapter 18, that is the highest kind of selfless service. When we use our wealth in the service of getting others connected to Krishna, or we use our wealth in charity where the Annadan has actually been offered to Krishna, because if you do Annadan and that is not Prasadam, then you are also accepting the karma of distributing sinful food. The people accepting that food in charity are also accepting karma. So we should never do Annadan unless it is Prasadam, which means it is cooked, it is offered to Krishna, and then it is served as Prasadam. So, but the highest form of charity, Krishna is saying, when you find another soul, you get them connected to me. Imagine how happy Krishna would be if you connect everybody to him. So he has given you that best service because he says, I am not going to force the Jivatmas to come and connect to me. But the other Jivatmas are there who can help them understand this truth. So really the best kind of charity is anything that helps a Jivatma connect to Krishna, because that's where our eternal home is with Krishna. So the best charity is anything that is devoted to Krishna conscious activities. So Krishna does not see how much you're giving. Krishna is seeing how much are you hiding. If you have crores of rupees and you come to the temple and you drop 10 rupees or a 5 rupee coin, you think Krishna does not know how much you have and how much you're giving? Krishna knows really how charitable you are. So it's not what you've extended your hand and given to Krishna, it's what you are holding back. Actually, you are holding back yourself. Therefore, all resources that we have to use it in Krishna's service, and that Krishna says is the best charity. We've covered this shloka in an earlier chapter, so I will not cover it now, since we already know that the best thing to do in Kali Yuga is Nama Japa, Tad Hari Kirtanan. Here's another shloka from Bhagavatam. Apanna samsritam ghoram yannama vivasho granam tata sadhyo vimuccheta yadbhibheti swayam bhayam. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Even without knowing the benefits of chanting Krishna's name, so when we say Hare Krishna, instinctively others will say Hare Krishna. They may not know how powerful their response is, but just by getting them to say Hare Krishna, they have created an account for themselves with Krishna. So what is that? Can be freed immediately. Even unconsciously, if you say unconsciously means we're not talking about somebody who's half asleep. Unawareness, you can say. If they are unaware of the power of the names of Krishna, if they just chant the name of the Lord, they get so many benefits. So that's why chanting is so powerful. So simply we have to make the Hare Krishna Mahamantra our lifeline. And the best time to chant is early morning hours. So this is an interesting shloka. Coming to the conclusion. Hari Om Tat Sat. All of you have heard of Om Tat Sat. Krishna is saying Om Tat Sat iti nirdeshah Brahmanastrivadhas smritaha Brahmanastena Vedascha Yajñascha Vihitah Pura. From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. So no sacrifice is complete until and until you have chanted Om Tat Sat. Okay, but this is not all. What else? There are so many mantras, right? Not all mantras are equal, and not all mantras can be chanted by everybody. Certain mantras are restricted. Some mantras can be chanted loudly. Some mantras have to be chanted only mentally. Some mantras can only be chanted if you have been initiated in that mantra. There are so many rules for mantras. So, for example, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, anybody can chant anytime, anywhere. Now, a typical question will come. In the Shastra, the mantra is actually the other way around. It is Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Why was it changed? Very simple. The mantra that is there in the scriptures, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that has to be given to you to chant it that way. Therefore, Mahaprabhu decided that anybody can chant the mantra if it is reversed. Where just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. There are no rules to chanting this mantra. But the other way around, there are rules. So some mantras only Brahmanas are allowed to chant. So one day, a famous king was very, very interested in learning about mantras. So he approaches Muni and asks him, can you please teach me this mantra? And the Muni says, no, I cannot teach you this mantra. What would be best is for you to go and take care of your kingdom very nicely. So the king becomes very adamant. And so the Muni says, the king always travels with his security people, right? His guards. So the Muni got very upset and he told the soldiers, arrest your king. He's being very adamant. Everybody laughs. The soldiers laugh, the king laughs. And the king thought, what arrogance this Muni has. He turns to his soldiers and he says, arrest this Muni, for he has the temerity to ask you to arrest me. And the Muni said, did you just see, when I told them, arrest the king, they didn't respond. It had no impact on them. Similarly, certain mantras has to be chanted by certain people. If you chant it, it will not have the impact. So the king understood. Because when the Muni said, arrest the king, the soldiers didn't respond. But when the king said, arrest the Muni, those same words, arrest, suddenly had power. Because who was asking to arrest? The king himself. Therefore, the Muni said, you can understand now why certain mantras are meant to be recited only by restricted categories of people. So therefore, some mantras are only meant to be chanted by people with Brahmanical qualities. Yeah. So you can see Kupakarna chanted the mantra. He also wanted some boon. The Devatas got very worried. They went to Brahma and said, come on, how many demons in one family can we handle? Brahma said, see, I can't do anything. If he chants the mantra, I have to give him the boon. That's my duty. So somehow, actually, he wanted to take Indra's position. But somehow Saraswati Devi intervenes when Kumbhakarna recites that particular mantra. Instead of saying Indra, he says Nidra. And therefore the mantra had a completely different impact. So even if you don't pronounce one word correctly, there is no use in chanting complicated mantras. Keep it very simple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Because if you don't chant it properly, the results could be very different. So no point in risking chanting complex mantras that you don't know how to chant. What does this Om Tat Sat mean? Om is a reference to the impersonal aspect of Vishnu. When you say Om, it helps you remember the Supreme Lord. What does Tat means? It describes working without attachment for liberation, which means whatever you're doing, you're not expecting any results, you leave the results to the Lord. Sat means you're offering the service for the satisfaction of Bhagavan Vishnu, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. This is the meaning of Om Tat Sat, which means Krishna says as a concluding shloka for this chapter, because it began with Arjuna's question. So the final conclusion of Krishna is Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asad ityuchyate partha nachatat pretya no iha. Anything done as a sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and the next. So to conclude, Krishna is saying in answer to Arjuna's question, what about those who don't have faith in the scriptures but do something else? Krishna is saying, what a waste of time. Whatever they are doing, they'll not get the benefit in this life. Forget next life. So Krishna is saying, everything is asat. That means yajna, dana, and tapa must only be done for those who have faith in Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana or Krishna. Anything else Krishna is saying is quite a waste of time. You expended energy, you feel good, but results will not come. So this is the most important. No faith, no use. If you have faith and belief in Krishna, then you can make some progress. So this is the last shloka for today. 18th chapter is quite long. So we'll probably pick it up on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we will learn about who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he's Sakshat Krishna Bhagwan himself. And then Tuesday, we will learn about our founder Acharya, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. And then after that, we will conclude with chapter 18. But chapter 18 is just a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita again. Of course, there is a question Arjuna asks, which triggers a quick summary by Krishna of everything that he's spoken. It will begin with the summary of Karma Yoga, to the three gunas, to love of God, and then the end result of hearing this particular conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Okay. We'll stop here. Any questions? I'm happy to take it up now. Yes. Any questions or doubts about today's chapter? Pretty quiet people, huh? No questions. Yes, Radha Lakshmi Mataji, you have a question?
No, no, Mataji. Actually, you've given a different perspective. I've done this course before, but that it's so different. So, and your outlook is totally different from what I heard before. I'm just enjoying. That's all.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, what about the others? Any question? No doubts at all, huh? Everything is clear? Super clear?
Mataji,
Yes.
I'm staying at Chelakere.
Yes.
But now I am at Mumbai itself.
Okay.
My daughter suggested to take this class as she is staying at Bangalore. She visits to the ISKCON temple
Okay.
every Saturday. So just I am here for in the Mumbai in the daughter's house to look after the baby. So okay, I had quit my job and came here. So here when this is the first time that I am going with the Bhagavad Gita class.
Very nice.
Yeah, this is the first time. And usually once or twice I had visited ISKCON, that's all. So my husband is a devotee and he makes it. And whatever the pujas he does in the house itself. But I am away opposite. I don't believe in everything. So I believe that my duty is my workshop. That's all. So where there is a will, there is a way. Like this, I believe in my work. But I had many doubts regarding about why to sit and why to pray Krishna only, why not another gods. And our pleasing sense, the God will know. No, He is the supreme. He knows everything what we are doing here. So He is the caretaker. So whether we pray or not, it will go to Him. Whatever results are. So it is in His hands. I was thinking like that. So many doubts I was having. And especially what you talked about the semi gods, we totally believe in that semi gods. We are in the family and we have to take care of that. The rituals, what our forefathers were making in our house, and especially the festivals, what we had made. So we have to assure it by doing, and for doing this we will all call our relations and make that puja functions in our house very happily. Why Krishna only? If we go like that, then to Krishna only, then these will be avoided. And what will our people think? What they are doing, they are separating themselves like this, and they are going to the media instructions, they will think like that. And also they are believing in the god which is very gorgeous, and they are totally making their like the supreme, they are thinking like that, like so many these wilder thoughts I had. So one by one, the answers it came itself while attending the first class to up to this class. Daily, it was like a mirror for me. This Bhagavad Gita class I was hearing from you. So most of these words I am unable to understand. They are so spiritually connected, and I was finding in my mobile, and I am getting my yes. Most of the meanings you have guided, but some of the meanings still I am unable to catch it. Though I am an English teacher, I am unable to catch it. So I was seeing with my mobile, and I am getting that where the meanings are. So when I got, these are the simple meanings, but the words are so worthy there. And as a mirror, day by day, the next day I'm getting the another question, and the same that in Bhagavad Gita class I got reflected the answer.
Yes.
So I thought it is like a mirror, and wherever vision goes, the same answers I am getting. So I thought, okay, so you are knowing my doubts and you are clearing my doubts, huh? Like that, I was keep silent. So, okay, yes, day by day.
Actually, Krishna is clearing your doubts to help you get closer to him. It's not me. We are just relaying what Krishna has already said and what acharyas have already said about the Bhagavad Gita. We are, first of all, we should not invent something new that is not already there in the scriptures and come in the parampara system, right? So Krishna is just responding to your inner questions in such a way that because you've faithfully attended, I think, every session, I don't think you've missed any session so far.
Yeah.
So Krishna is responding to that level of commitment from you and clarifying whatever doubts that you had. It's just coming through the slides, coming through the content. But this is knowledge that has always existed. Sometimes the timing matters. The timing just matters. You don't know when Krishna will pull you close to him. And I'm happy that you've attended all the sessions so far and many of your doubts have been clarified. But it's a journey. You have to be patient. You said your husband is already practicing. Is he with Murari Madhav Prabhu? Is he attending Murari Madhav Prabhu's classes?
Murari Madhav. Giridhar ma'am.
Giridhar?
Here. Giridhar Das.
Giridhar Das. Okay, maybe he's with Murari.
Ah.
Chalakere is
In
our temple. It's under our temple only. So there is a wonderful devotee called Murari Madhav Prabhu.
Murari Madhav Prabhu is there, but he took the class by online only. Giridhar Das Prabhu, and he knows only Kannada, and he practices every day.
Wonderful. I'm very happy to hear that. And your daughter is also attending class there?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. So wonderful. So I'm happy that some of your doubts get clarified.
My daughter at Bangalore, she is attending. She is attending. Her children are also attending here, and they only insisted. And my grandson, he teaches me everything about what that on the day the class has been gone. To understand that, okay, he only suggested you clarify your doubts through the while you sit in the Bhagavad Gita class. No, you will know who is that person and who is that. He only suggested, so I took it. At least to know what he is telling.
How old is your grandson?
He is already in 7th standard.
Okay. So he's listening also.
Yeah, he is coming, ma'am. He is coming to this classes here regularly on Saturday.
Yeah. Very nice. I'm so happy that your family is engaged and somehow Krishna has pulled you to these classes. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Very well. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. There's a question in the chat. General question. Bhishma Pitama gives an oath that he will take care of the kingdom and the kingdom run by the sons of Satyavati. But if we see the family chart, Dhritarashtra and Pandu are siblings and both of them. Whoever was sitting on the king's throne, he is meant to support them. So it just so happened that Dhritarashtra was sitting on the king's throne, so he supported him. But that's the vow he had taken. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, devotees. Vancha kalpadarubhyasya kripasindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Goti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Gauranathai ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.